This is a rabbit hole we're going to go down in this video here, covering Tim Sweeney, the head of Epic, that is in real time being exposed for someone that supports, we'll just say, people that are wanting the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And yeah, it's really that simple. And this isn't a reply to the Clemson University post apologizing and condemning any expressions that endorse, glorify, or celebrate political violence, which you would think is pretty innocuous. Be like, yeah, that's every company should be saying this. What's the problem here? We got Tim Sweeney coming in from the top ropes, which, by the way, I'll get to this later on in the video. I'm not surprised from this reaction from him. What amendment says you can't diss someone? Not seeing it here. Is Tim Sweeney retarded? Free speech does not make you free from consequences. I don't know how many times you need to say this to people. First Amendment, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. And this is from Permabola, who says, the CEO of Epic Games says that mocking Charlie Kirk's death is unproblematic because it's protected by the Constitution. And he followed it up, by the way. My tweet isn't some veiled partisan political commentary. Clemson's statement is simply wrong about the Constitution, and a public university should know better. The Constitution and the right to vigorously criticize is supposed to be the constant through these times. Sorry, libtard. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom of consequences. And the clap, which 100%. Imagine playing something from Epic Games. Shout out to Cody from Camelcast and Emerald Apple. Oh, I just added a whole platform to the boycott list. Incitement to violence and calls to violence is not protected by free speech. How about this one? AI overview. Criticizing China in Fortnite chat is not possible because the game's developer, Epic Games, has established rules against political speech, especially regarding China. Doing so can lead to an account ban, and specific phrases related to the country's government are censored. Oh, that's shocking. Wow. Suck on China's teat a little bit harder, Tim. What makes Tim Sweeney such an idiot is that the person in question wasn't just mocking the death of someone or dissing them. They were encouraging that others become assassins. And here's the actual screenshot. In a world full of Charlie Kirks and Brian Thompsons, be a Tyler Robinson or a Luigi Mangione. Wanderer says the left kills a man for saying words and then whines about how it's free speech and dances on his grave. Never buying another thing from Epic Games. And Godman, well, free speech protects your right to say it, but it doesn't make it right to say. Mocking someone's death isn't bold, it's just cruel. Constitution shields speech from government punishment, not from basic human decency. And here's why I knew this was going to come back to him. This approach from Tim Sweeney is absolutely nothing new. This is who he's been for a long time. And in fact, Tim Sweeney himself has attempted to dunk on me in the past, and I might add successfully did, because I was a nobody back then when I held fast to my morals of what I stand for. This was over a year and a half ago. I said, this approach is nothing new for Tim Sweeney. While honorable to defend employees' freedom of speech while they work for you, at some point, recognize that the awful things they say to others is a terrible look and speaks volumes for the environment you've cultivated. And this was one of the employees at Epic Games, senior programmer. And I had a conversation with him. I don't even remember what it was, but this is how it ended. Literally, go fuck yourself. You're an absolutely vile person, which I can assure you guys, whatever the conversation was, it was fairly tame. But this dude who is allowed, as far as I understand, this is not just his profile picture, is allowed to wear a dinosaur outfit to the office, allegedly, is a gay T-Rex who makes silly games, he, him. And I tagged Evan Kinney, this is the guy, I said, is a senior programmer for Epic Games, Fortnite, Unreal Engine, and tech staff for Games Done Quick. He apparently does not enjoy my coverage of exposing fraudulent game journalists. Hashtag take games back. And Locke, friend of the channel, tagged Tim Sweeney. I didn't even tag Tim Sweeney, by the way. Are these the people you like representing your company? And this was almost going on a year and a half ago. I support my Epic colleagues' rights to express themselves. I think cancel campaigns, such as the one from Smash JT above, should be rejected as they attempt to chill freedom of speech and freedom of association by tearing down sensible personal / company boundaries. And this guy responded, are you saying telling someone to go fuck themselves and calling them a vile person is expressing oneself? Which, according to Tim, he really takes that amendment seriously with free speech. You're allowed to say whatever the fuck you want. I responded to him saying, not a cancel campaign, Tim. I'm just surprised this isn't being addressed on some professional level. At this point, with how far the spiral has gone, which, by the way, again, almost a year and a half ago, I was saying how far the spiral's gone. Fast forward to today, and the Charlie Kirk situation is here, out of control in the industry. I guess I really shouldn't be. And this guy, so you want the company they work for to take action against them on a professional level, but you're not calling for cancellation. Seems clear you want them written up / fired. Yeah, I'd want them written up. Absolutely. But not fired necessarily for the things he said. For not sharing your opinions on culture / games. Not sure how else to interpret it, but a cancel campaign. And I said, no, more of a casual, hey, Dino Rex, try not to be so aggressive and angry while having our company in your bio. It gives us a bad look. Why is it always taken to extreme with the pronoun crew? So, like I said, you want them written up for his conduct, and you want Epic to not allow freedom of speech for their workers. Seems like a pretty clear cancel campaign, which, again, please reread what I said, because that isn't it. And I don't know what I'm responding to, but the guy was deleted. But here's the funny thing. The pendulum has swung so far, so fast back the other direction, which I and many other people were calling when Trump got back into presidency, that now they are worried about, oh, now you can't cancel people. You're not allowed to cancel people. It's not okay. It's weird because they're just expressing their opinions. And I point back to the original post from Tim Sweeney here, where your right to free speech is not your right from freedom of consequences. If you handle yourself like a complete douchebag and you represent your company, if that guy, by the way, if that T-Rex guy didn't have Epic Games and Games Done Quick and everything in his profile, I wouldn't have tagged those places because I wouldn't have known. I'd be like, oh, it's just some fucktard on the internet. He is representing the company he works for. That is the massive difference. They always want to ignore that, by the way. They think, oh, my words are my own. I speak for myself. The fuck you do. You represent your company if you're putting them in your bio. That is why you should not do that if you're going to be unhinged online. Just to be honest with you. I didn't even go into this guy's LinkedIn. I didn't hunt down what his name was and who he worked for. I just clicked on it. I was like, oh, God. Epic Games has this guy hiring, and this is who they want working at their company. And clearly, Tim Sweeney has encouraged this kind of environment for years now. And I knew this was going to come back at him because people are trying to talk sense into Tim, and it isn't working. Like I said, I knew this was going to come back at him. I even called it from back then. People came at me. They tried to defend Tim. They even tagged me on Reddit back then, tried to drag me through the mud, being like, oh, look at this. Smash JT's trying to cancel people. Smash JT's the bad guy here. And I'm like, you know what? I'll let this sit, because any fucktard that stands up for this douchebag is going to really stumble in the future. Fast forward to now, it's like, here we are. Welcome to Tim Sweeney, the guy in charge of Epic that allows people to do and say the most vile shit, and just goes back to, they're my employees. They represent my company, but they're allowed to be their own person and say whatever the fuck they want. I guess, bro. I guess. Let's see if your opinion changes when the money stops coming in, because something tells me you would take a hard turn as soon as that happened. But I will leave that one.